Hello, I'm Miamisburg Mayor Dick Church Jr. Welcome to my State of the City address for 2015. I'm pleased again this year to bring you my annual report on the major activities related to the Miamisburg local government and community. What you'll hear about in the next several minutes are some of the highlights from 2014 in Miamisburg and some of the things to watch for in the year ahead. I hope you'll discover what I've known for years. There are great things happening in Miamisburg. The theme of my State of the City address this year is building community. A lot of what we do in local government revolves around the word building. We coordinate the building of roads. We construct and maintain public buildings. We accommodate and regulate residential and commercial buildings. And we do things to build a sense of community among our residents. We build for the present, and we build for the future. Miamisburg has been a growing city in my 23 years as mayor, so it seems like we're always building something. And because of that, today we're a modern community and an appealing place for people to live, work, and play. In 2014, the building spotlight shined especially bright on the city's infrastructure. There were significant roadway projects and planning for major water and sewer system improvements. In terms of roads, the most prominent project took place downtown on First Street between Central and Linden Avenues. Work included resurfacing of the roadway and replacement of sidewalks, curbs, gutters, and drive aprons. Decorative brick pavers were also installed, along with stamped concrete crosswalks, street lights, and landscaping. As I record this presentation, one final component is still awaiting completion. A custom-made metal arch was scheduled to be installed this winter over Central Avenue as westbound motorists approach First Street. This new arch serves as a gateway into the downtown business district, where we have made such great strides in revitalization over the past 2 decades. It's important to note that this arch was paid for with part of a $300,000 federal transportation enhancement grant. The total First Street project cost was $420,000, but the city paid less than 30% of that total in matching funds. Also in roadway-related work, new sidewalks and drive aprons were installed in front of the Miamisburg Plaza on Central Avenue. This project resulted in complete pedestrian connectivity on the south side of Central between Lawrence Avenue and Heineke Road. Many citizens today say that the walkability of a community is important to them, and this project improved the walkability in this busy section of Miamisburg. Another transportation enhancement grant provided $120,000 for this project, with the city providing $30,000 in matching funds. On Rosina Drive, the city partnered with the Miamisburg City Schools on a project to widen and repave the section between Heineke Road and South Linden Avenue. The intent of this project was to better accommodate pedestrian traffic to and from the nearby middle school, again improving the walkability in our community. The city's annual street maintenance programs continued in 2014 with paving on several streets in the Sherwood Forest subdivision and new sidewalk, curb, and gutter installed on a dozen local streets. Next to the Miamisburg Civic Center, an existing public parking lot on Ferry Street was resurfaced and restriped. Our Civic Center includes a municipal court and a fire station, and can be quite busy during the workday. This project upgraded a seldom used area to provide about 40 spaces to accommodate overflow parking. As you can see, we got a lot accomplished in roadway improvements in 2014, and these will continue to be a priority in coming years. We also continue to seek financial support for construction projects at the state and federal levels. This enables us to leverage our limited local dollars for major projects that benefit our community. Speaking of the state, I'm pleased to report that in 2015, The Ohio Department of Transportation will come to Miamisburg and repave State Route 725 between Heineke and Alexandersville roads. Also, ODOT will begin design for a bridge replacement on Gephardt Church Road near Maui, with construction to follow in 2016. We're very appreciative of these state programs that support local transportation projects. As significant as these road improvements are that I've outlined, they're actually modest in scope compared to the plans that we've developed for upgrades to our water and sewer systems. I told you last year that City Council had decided to maintain local control and ownership of these systems after about a year studying various options. I also told you that the systems were in need of approximately $69 million in improvements. So in 2014, the city worked with consultants to begin the planning and design of these necessary upgrades and set future rates to fund this work. A new rate structure was approved for the next 5 years, and residents began seeing the initial increase on their bills around the first of the year. I want citizens to know that the city did not take this decision lightly. Council recognized the magnitude of the work necessary and made the difficult decision to move forward. We're embarking on some major projects that will modernize our infrastructure, accommodate future growth, and make our systems viable for years to come. The simple truth is, if you own a public utility, you have to invest in it. It's important to note that most of the planned work is required to meet EPA mandates. For example, of the $39 million estimated for sewer projects, $34 million is tied directly to these regulatory requirements. Among the direct benefits citizens will see from these projects will be future softening of water and improvements to the water distribution system that will reduce the number of water main breaks. The first projects will begin this spring and include the rehab and replacement of drinking water well houses and the replacement of water and sanitary sewer lines along Riverview Avenue. Work on other components will continue for the next 5 to 6 years. Through it all, residents can rest assured knowing that the City of Miamisburg maintains its longtime commitment to provide clean, safe drinking water. Before I conclude our review of infrastructure work, I want to also mention a major investment the City of Miamisburg is making in its beautiful Pipestone Golf Course. Pipestone has been open for 23 years now and remains one of the premier public courses in the region. To ensure the long-term viability of Pipestone and provide more efficient maintenance and water usage, the city is replacing the original irrigation system. Work began in the fall and will conclude this spring with minimal impact on golfers. All piping and irrigation heads are being replaced, and they'll be operated by an advanced control system. The $1 million cost of the project is being split evenly between the city's capital budgets for 2014 and 2015. In a related note, the city this year welcomed a new management company to oversee the day-to-day operation at Pipestone. We look forward to working closely with Florida-based Hampton Golf to help Pipestone reach its potential as a top venue in the region. Of course, to pay for capital projects like these, as well as the basic services our residents expect, the city works hard to build its budget capacity. Miamisburg has a strong record of responsible fiscal management, and our abilities in that area have been put to the test in recent years. The two primary reasons for this, as I mentioned previously, have been the general state of the economy and the ongoing assaults on local government revenue by the state of Ohio. While the economy has stabilized somewhat, in many ways that recovery has been slow and governments are still feeling the effects of the recession. The latest impact occurred when the Montgomery County Auditor last summer announced the results from the latest property revaluation process. Countywide, the decrease in property values exceeded a staggering $1 billion, or nearly 5%. Over 70% of residential property owners experienced a decrease in value since the last reevaluation. Government, schools, libraries, and other agencies supported by levies will feel the effects of this to varying degrees. In Miamisburg, the decrease in property values totaled approximately 4.5%. What this means to our budget will be a loss of about $118,000 of revenue this year. As significant as that is, it pales in comparison to the revenue losses that we suffered as a result of several actions at the state level. As I told you last year, various budget and legislative decisions in Columbus have cost the city of Miamisburg approximately $1 million in annual revenue. Unfortunately, there appears to be more difficulty on the way. The effort by legislators that I described last year to make local income tax collections uniform across the state stalled for most of 2014. But after the November election, that effort gained steam and the legislation was passed near the end of the year. The final version was still being analyzed at the time of this taping, but we anticipate that some damaging provisions could cost our city in the neighborhood of $500,000 more annually. It's the latest blow to Ohio cities, who will be left once again to find ways to cope with revenue losses and properly fund the basic services people like you rely on every day. This assault on local government revenues over the past 4 years has been relentless, and I find it very troubling. We have made great progress as a community, and I fear that continuing cuts will undo that progress. At some point, they could also affect the basic services we're able to provide. We'll keep you informed about the economic damage from this new law as it becomes more clear. I do want to recognize our state senator, Peggy Lehner, for her no vote on the latest bill. Her support of local government is much appreciated. Of course, we're proactive in budget matters on both the revenue and expense sides. In terms of expenditures, we have been especially conservative since the economic downturn of 2008. We've reassessed some services and staffing, and today have a smaller and more flexible organization serving this community. We also tried to extend the life of our equipment and our vehicles to limit major purchases when possible. And finally, we've achieved substantial savings in energy costs as a result of improvement projects in 2013 at several city buildings. These facilities were Green Business certified by the Dayton Regional Green Initiative, and our improvements have saved hundreds of thousands of dollars to date. On the revenue side, our largest source is income tax, and that puts our primary focus on attracting and retaining business in the community. We've historically been aggressive with our economic development efforts in Miamisburg, and we've had many successes. Some significant projects in recent years have helped us withstand the economic adversity I described earlier. In 2014, the Montgomery County EDGE program was part of 3 separate projects that brought jobs to our community. First, a firm called Gaston Corporation moved from Warren County into this large existing facility on Richard Street. Gaston is a defense contractor that employs about 75 people. To accommodate the relocation, Miamisburg obtained a county EDGE grant in the amount of $150,000. We're excited to have Gaston in our community, and we're also very pleased to have this space returned to productive use. It's the former longtime home of Dayton Superior, a prominent company that remains in our city, and made headlines of its own in 2014. Dayton Superior opened a new innovation center in July at its current headquarters on Byers Road. This new facility will serve as a hub for research and technology service supporting the company's new product development. It will result in the addition of several new jobs on site, and also benefited from an EDGE grant in the amount of $60,000. Then thirdly, another $60,000 EDGE grant helped bring advanced industrial measurement systems to Miamisburg. Ames purchased and renovated this facility on Conley Drive, bringing 12 employees from Greene County with plans to add another 10 jobs over the next 3 years. The EDGE program has been very successful for economic development in Montgomery County, and we're very appreciative of the funding that made these 3 projects possible. Among the other commercial highlights from 2014, a company called Silver Tool moved into a new 30,000 square foot building in the South Point Business Park off Alexandersville Road. This relocation brought approximately 40 jobs to Miamisburg and a prominent new company to South Point. At the Mound Business Park, the engineering firm of Barge, Wagner, Sumner, and Cannon moved into this facility. This longtime Miami Valley firm has about 20 employees with plans to expand in the near future. We're very pleased to accommodate that growth right here in our community and add Barge Wagner to the roster of businesses operating at the Mound site. The Mound Development Corporation, which oversees our reuse efforts at the site, unveiled a new name for the campus last year, which was formerly known as the Mound Advanced Technology Center. Along with that, a new logo was developed as efforts continue to reposition the former federal government site as a vibrant place for commerce. We celebrate the opening or expansion of many small businesses each year. One that I want to call to your attention last year was the second microbrewery to open on 2nd Street. Lucky Star Brewery joined our downtown business community, making its own craft beers on site in this renovated building. Microbreweries are a popular trend in the hospitality industry, and they appear to be a growing trend right here in Miamisburg. Lucky Star's opening was less than 1 year after Star City Brewing opened in the former Peerless Mill Inn. We think these new offerings add to the uniqueness of our downtown district, and we wish them nothing but success. Of course, our core mission as a local government is to provide the basic services our residents need and desire. These include things like public safety, public works, and recreation. For most of the past decade, city leaders have been assessing our service delivery on a regular basis. Mostly that's because of the ongoing economic threats that we have faced, but also because of the changing demands, opportunities for partnerships with other governments, and new technologies. We strive to be as efficient as possible while providing outstanding customer service. For example, our income tax division recently moved into much larger office space within the Miamisburg Civic Center. Renovations were done to the former community room to provide taxpayers more privacy when meeting with tax staff and a more convenient waiting area. The entrance to the new income tax office is now through the main Parks and Recreation office doors, and it is clearly marked for visitors. The relocation is allowing us to provide improved customer service, and the new space has been well received by the public. And then in Parks and Recreation, the entire registration process for our patrons has been improved with a complete online option. Just create an account at playmiamisburg.com and sign up for classes, reserve a tee time at Mound Golf Course, or purchase a season pass at Sycamore Trails Aquatic Center. It's never been more convenient to get active and stay active in Miamisburg, and I invite you to do so. Whether we talk about our basic services or the capital projects we undertake, you have to plan ahead and you have to set budget priorities. That's critical for our community because of the economic challenges and uncertainty I described earlier. As long as the state of Ohio continues its unrelenting assault on local revenues, and as long as the economy continues to have negative effects like declining property values. You have to be especially prudent and wise about how we're spending taxpayer money. That's the primary reason council and staff worked with consultants to create a new strategic plan last year. Our process was comprehensive, with a telephone survey of residents, market analysis, stakeholder surveys, and in-depth meetings of council and staff. At the conclusion of the process, the city had a set of key priorities moving forward in the following core areas: fiscal management, land use, downtown, infrastructure, economic development, communications, and healthy lifestyles. A copy of the plan summary is available in our administrative office area and also online at ci.miamisburg.oh.us. I also want to mention one very gratifying part of the process. In the phone survey of the community, which was statistically valid, our residents gave opinions about our local government and the community as a whole that were very positive. For example, 85% of those surveyed said they approve of the job performance of city leaders. 85%. That's a very gratifying number to me, City Council, and members of our staff leadership team. We all appreciate that trust and support. Also, 71% of survey respondents said they believe Miamisburg in general is headed in the right direction. And on a scale of 1 to 10, those surveyed rated the quality of life in our community at an average of 7.88. We were told by the consultants that these are very high ratings on these types of surveys, and so we're very pleased with that. Council staff and I strive to have an organization that meets the needs of our residents, and we want citizens to have pride in their community. This survey gives us an indication that we've had some level of success in doing that. A copy of the survey is also available on our website if you would like to take a closer look. Yes, a local government can do some things to help build a community. For example, gatherings related to recreation and special events bring people together in an enjoyable atmosphere. Places where neighbors join with neighbors and build relationships. Churches and schools and civic organizations also bring people together in similar fashion. A community is all about people. People with shared experiences, a shared history, shared dreams. And because life comes with both good and bad, sometimes these shared experiences revolved around adversity. Our community suffered a painful loss in 2011 when a local Marine named Paul Rocky Zanowick was killed in action in Afghanistan. We mourned Paul's death at the time and later memorialized him with a monument in our library park. Well, last year, Paul's sacrifice was commemorated again, this time by the state of Ohio. At a dedication ceremony in May, a section of State Route 725 from Heineke Road to State Route 741 was renamed the Marine Corporal Paul W. Zanowick Memorial Highway. Legislation in Columbus designated several highways across Ohio in honor of fallen service members, and we're pleased that Paul was included. The ceremony took place after Rocky's 5K Run for Freedom, which was created to honor his memory and was attended by his family, several state dignitaries, and many citizens. It was a morning of remembrance and recognition and reflection. It was a morning in which our community became a little closer and a little stronger. The identification signs are now posted on 725, providing an ongoing reminder of this local man's sacrifice for our nation. After spending these last few minutes with me, I hope you'll agree that the state of our city is strong. It takes a lot to build a city. It takes a lot to build a community. It takes individuals, businesses, organizations, schools, churches, and government. I am proud of what we built together, and I salute all the people who make Miamisburg a special place. With your continued support, we will continue to build a better community. We have a unique opportunity coming up in 2018 to commemorate the rich history of our city. That's when Miamisburg will turn 200 years old, and I think that's worthy of a giant celebration. To that end, citizens are beginning to meet this year to help plan our bicentennial. I want you to be involved. So keep an eye out for meeting dates in newspapers and on the city's website and Facebook page. It is my hope that our citizens will come together in large numbers for this milestone and make it truly a special event. I know I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for allowing me to serve as mayor. Joining me in public service is a city council that shares my enthusiasm and commitment to the job. I also want to acknowledge our highly trained and professional city staff that serve with great dedication and works hard for you on a daily basis. That concludes my State of the City address for 2015. As usual, I want to thank the fine staff at the Miami Valley Communications Council for helping develop this presentation for cable television. I also want to thank you for watching. I'm Dick Church, Jr. May God bless you and your family, and may God bless America.